Hi, this is the orientation for Anatomy and Physiology hybrid class, AP1. This is going to apply to both the lecture and the lab, okay? And I am Dr. Lawrence Roberge. Now, it is essential that you go over this content prior to meeting on the first class, which will be the first Monday of January. Please also on the first Monday of January, bring your books, your access card, your printed up syllabi for both the lab and the lecture. But if you follow through this material, you should also have on hand right in front of you right now the printouts of your syllabi, the syllabus for both your lab and your lecture course. Okay? Now for some of you, this is a repeat. Please bear with me because I don't know who really knows the material and who doesn't, so I have to go through all of the issues. But I think if you've been here before, you will be pleased to note that there are some significant changes that have occurred. So therefore, I want you to go through this entire video. It's very important. Let's talk about this. First off, you're expected to have a working email address that's registered with your e-learning site. It is really important because I will send weekly some memos and responses. And the only way to communicate with you online is, one of the best ways is, of course, by email. Now, you're also to read your syllabus. There is a responsibility statement that you will have to fill out, and this must be done before the end of the first week of the course. Regular attendance in the course classroom, in this case, it's going to be the e-learning site. And a new change that's going to occur is that regular attendance, to check it off, you have to do at least 2 days of the week, each week starting at 12:01 a.m. on Sunday, ending at 8 p.m. on Friday. You need to check off for the lecture only twice a week, for the lab only twice a week, and I'll show you how to check off on that. As I said, you can expect weekly memos. It's very important that we communicate. If you need to contact me, sometimes I'm on campus, sometimes I'm not. So one of the ways is that you can make appointments this semester. I will be on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays usually. Or we can set up a chat time. There's a chat option through the e-learning site. Or if you want to do something much more quicker, sign your email with your full name. As you send me an email, I usually check my emails once, if not several times a day, every day. Yes, that includes on Sunday too. And I'd be happy to try to help you to go through things and respond back as quickly as I can. Okay? Now, if you notice I said full name, why? It's really important that students understand that there is regulations that hold us responsible in being responsible communicators. And students are expected to follow all of the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. This is extremely important. And one of the key issues is that I cannot respond to unsigned emails, okay? Or emails from somebody else other than the student. Now, a lot of students are very fast with sending out quick text messages. But if you don't sign your full name, legally, I cannot reply. That seems being difficult, but I have to follow the regulations, and this protects the student, myself, and the college. So please set up an auto signature on your text messaging if possible, or find some of the means such as just regular email. But I will respond to you as quickly as possible. In academic circles, it's long been recognized that attendance has a direct relationship to grades and to student success. We're going to talk about how we account for attendance, and I have to report this to the registrar weekly. So you have to understand that this is an important aspect, but it's also important for your own success in the course as well as your final grade. Many students who have had spotty attendance usually are the ones that do not pass the course or have difficulty with it. Also, if you're having problems in attendance with something that's a larger issue, such as you have to leave the country, there's a death in a family member in another country, you have to have some operation or some medical procedure, you're going to be out from classes for a couple of weeks, that's important. Let us know. If you communicate with the school will try to work with you. If you're going to be out for several weeks due to a personal medical situation, I encourage you to contact Karen Masters, who is the Director of Student Success, and she will be very helpful in working out situation. If there's an issue that you have difficulty with time management in the sense of juggling your courses, your family, your job or jobs, multiple courses, etc., please contact the Center for Student Success. They have a lot of wonderful people that are very active in helping students to work out the issues of time management, to budget their time and be successful in their courses at the same time. Now, the new method for attendance. There is going to be a site in your e-learning site for both the lecture and the lab. You will sign in each time you log in. You go to the forum post in the attendance discussion. You only need to do this 2 days of the week. You do it Sunday and Monday, and you're doing other studying on the side after that, no problem, as long as you sign in. Now, let me show you what I mean by sign in. As you can see, this is your site. You would go to collaboration. You would go to the forums. And as you can see here, this is your lecture site. And there's a section here for student responsibility. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But here's the attendance check-in site. All you need to do is log in, add a post, and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm here." And then sign it with your full name. And that's it. I will get a date time stamp, and I will basically be able to recognize that you've been here. Same thing, this is for your lab. See where it says collaboration? You click on it, you click on forums, scroll down, and there's the attendance check-in site there. You have to do this for both lab and lecture only twice, 2 separate days of the week. Make sure it's from Sunday to Friday. Do not consider Saturday. And attendance is not taken for your activity on mastering A&P. This is extremely important because I have to report these attendances or absences to the registrar's office, and basically they have a program that hunts down in in the e-learning site. If there are too many absences for the student, they may actually withdraw the student. This is an administrative withdrawal. I have nothing to do with it. For more details, see your syllabus for both lecture and lab for the details. As I said, it's the policy of Laborae to administratively withdraw students from the class with 3 consecutive absences. Now, some students, they walk away from class, they withdraw, but they don't stop and let anyone know. And this can have a deleterious effect on your grades, your success, financial aid, and all sorts of other things. I really don't want to see anybody go through this. So the best thing to do is maintain your attendance. If you're feeling you're overloaded, go speak to people at One Step or at the Center for Student Success. But also, students with 3 unexcused absences, in the sense of the absences, they've not done the attendance, and they've done this 3 separate weeks in different situations throughout the semester, they can have a 1 grade reduction. I've tried to modulate that somewhat. What will happen is there will be a 1 grade reduction, but it will not go below the passing of C+. But a lot of times, if students are lagging in their attendance, they're going to be contacted by student advisor. They will call you, they will email you, and the registrar's office may do the same thing. Don't ignore them. Try to talk with them and explain the situation. Let's move on. There is a student responsibility and accountability statement. Now, basically, it states that I've read the syllabus and agree and will follow all the requirements, deadlines, announcements, email memos, and conditions of the course. I have read and accept the policy banning the use of iPads, smartphones, and smart devices during assignment submission. And where you see this is right above the attendance check-in. I don't care if you actually highlight, copy, and paste this and put it into your next basically posting. As you can see here, I'm hitting it and then it says add a post. But it's absolutely essential that when you put this in, A, you mean it. B, you sign it with your full name. There is one for the lab and there is one for the lecture site. You need to do both. Okay? All right. And you have to get this all done before the end of week 1, or you will not be listed as attendance in week 1. Now, attendance will also be taken on the day that we meet the first Monday in January. Please be there on time. We'll all get together. We'll go through things. If you have any questions, that's a great place to review it. That's why I'm giving you this video and going over some things now. Now, you got to also have the current text. If you bought the books from the Library bookstore, you got a package deal. That includes your lab book. That includes your lecture book, as you can see the current editions. Also the Pearson Access Code Card. Now, if you bought separately through some other place, I can't help you. What I can tell you is that you need to have access to the Pearson Mastering A&P site on the first day of classes. If you get delayed, unfortunately, you're going to hurt yourself. That's why we try to work with both Pearson and the online service provider to package up everything so students put in it. I know it's expensive, and I sympathize. I've also had to pay heavy amounts for some of the courses I've had to pay for. But that access code, which I'll show you in a few minutes how to use, is extremely important because a lot of activities will occur on the online site provided by Pearson called Mastering A&P. Also, you'll notice that there is in your syllabi an access code, which I will show you how to use in a few minutes. It's in bold print, it's usually on like page 2 or 3 or whatever. Let's talk about an e-learning demo. How do we actually get into Mastering A&P? Mastering A&P is a site, and what you do is you have to first register. If you've not done this before, so you haven't used in the last 18 months Mastering A&P, you're probably going to be okay. If you've used and are retaking this course for a second time, and you've used Mastering A&P within the last year or so, you'll probably be okay as well. If this is the first time that you're using the course and you're taking the course and you purchased your access card, you should be okay. What you first have to do is register, and the second thing after that is you have to identify what particular course, using the course IDs that I provide for you, where you're going to be located. So what you'll do is you'll get to this page, you'll click on Register Now. It'll tell you that you're going to need your email address, your instructor's course ID. If you have not paid for the access code, you're going to have to be able to pay for it now. Or if you have the access code, which is going to be on that little card in the package that you purchased, then you go through the steps of registering. First thing they're going to ask you to do is provide, well, in my case, it will show up course ID because I'm already registered. But in your case, it should look something like this. It'll ask you, do you have your access code? You will provide your access code. You'll basically say, yes, I have it right here. There'll be a question similar, maybe slightly changed in its form. And then what you do, and by the way, that access code, if you open up the card, there's a little tab. You pull the tab open, there's going to be a series of pseudo words there. Okay, about 6 of them or 5 of them, and then usually you've got about 5 or 6 letters each. And then what you do is you go down to the next page. You basically go, okay, and you get moved over to another page, and you have to agree to the licensing, which promises you won't steal any of the information, you won't copy the questions, you won't make a profit off them, etc. After you say, I agree, you go to the next page. Now, this is where you actually do the registration. You have to create a login name. You have to create a password. Make sure that they are the same in the sense that the password is duplicated, whereas it says retype your password. You don't have to have the login name and the password the same. But you do need to write these down because I will never have access to it. So if you get a problem where you forgot something, I can't help you. If you do have problems, write down the Mastering A&P Tech Help number, which should be as you're going through the registration of it. Then below that, you'll notice that they'll ask you for the access code. Notice it's all capitalized letters. You want to have the same type format, whether it's uppercase or lowercase, if there's any numbers, whatever. Then you go to the next page. As you can see, it'll ask you for your email address, your name. Now, where they come up to where the college is, here's a little point. You're in Milton now with Labouré. Labouré used to be in Dorchester. Its zip code was 02124. If you put in 02124, it may identify the college as Caritas Labouré. If it doesn't, try the more recent college zip code, which I think is 02186. I'm not sure, but you can double check that. And it may give you as Labouré College. Pearson may or may not have updated itself.